and happy Mental Push-Up Monday, baby. We here, and I hope you're ready to get in the gym and do those mental push-ups. If this is your first time joining, I'd like to give a big old welcome to you and thank you for checking out this video. This blog is all about who we be. Us getting in the gym, working on self, because the most challenging and rewarding workout that we will ever do is on ourselves. What I need you to do before we jump into today's mental push-up, I need you to share this video with 3 people, subscribe, like, all of that. But let's jump right into it. Last weekend, I picked up my little brother, and we're riding in the car, and then we start having a discussion about what do we want to do, what does he want to do when he gets older. He said, Andrea, I want to be just like Steph Curry. And I told him, I said, listen, I definitely don't know if I can get you to Steph Curry level, but I can give you a few drills to help you improve on your ball handling, because that was the one thing that he realized he needed to improve on for next season. So we go to the basketball court, and we go about 15-20 minutes. Like, we just doing the stationary ball handling drills. And then he says, oh, Andrea, I'm tired. So we run to the store, we get some water, and we come back. And then we go for another about 45 minutes, just straight ball handling. Like, we've been out on the court for about an hour, and we have yet to shoot a shot. And he stops, he said, this is a lot. I said, yeah, Carlos, it is a lot. Like, this is what it takes to be a great basketball player. Like, when I was little, I used to do these same things, just dribbling up and down the driveway, trying to get better. And so I realized in that moment, here he is, this 10-year-old kid, and he wants to be like Steph Curry. And I saw myself in him, because here I was, at one point I was this little 10-year-old kid too, and I wanted to play college basketball, but he had somewhere that he wanted to go. But I realized that in that moment, it came at a cost. I had to wake up some mornings. I had to be outside. I remember I would have bad games, and my hands would be freezing cold, and I'd be out there shooting jump shots, making layups, because I was just dissatisfied with how I played that game. And in order to become the expert, because right now he's a beginner, and in order to become an expert, it comes at a cost. It's almost as if sacrificing who you are right now to become that next version of who you are. And as I thought about that, I said, man, it costs to be the boss. Whether you want to be a better teacher, a better leader, it doesn't matter. It normally comes at a cost. So I'd like to share with you the Fab 5 to become it. Number 1, own that when you are moving from here to here, it's gonna be uncomfortable. And I say this again because it is about our mind, this thing between our ears, man. One thing that I've learned this weekend is that we are very complex individuals with feelings and emotions. Comment down below if you are complex, because I know I am. But for me, a large part of my life, one of the things that I used to struggle with was, like, when I got my feelings and it was uncomfortable, then I just quit. But if you know the discomfort is coming, then you can kind of prepare yourself to say, okay, I know I got to accept that this is going to be uncomfortable, which will help kind of power you through. So here's a prime example. Today I was at this training, and one of the things I acknowledged, I said, my drug of choice, my comfortability is to hide in the corner and just kind of be quiet. That's my natural, that's my 5-year-old self. I just love to be quiet, stand on the radar. But if I really want to connect with people and build relationships, then I had to acknowledge to myself, I said, okay, this is uncomfortable, but I'm going to open my mouth today. But acknowledging that and owning that is a part of it, that kind of gave me the fuel to do what I needed to do. So number 1, own and acknowledge that moving from here to here, man, it's going to be uncomfortable, and that's okay. Number 2, set your intentions. The 3 W's, the who, what, and the why. Now, the who we're going to talk about later, but the what and the why, we're going to just briefly touch on those. The what is simple. What do I really want? He said, I want to be like Steph Curry. The why is that reason that you can pull on when it gets tough, because it's going to. The why is critical because it helps you in those moments when you possibly want to quit, or you don't see it's possible, or it gets hard. It reminded me of just being a teacher in general. Like, if you coming into this profession, as I always say, I wanted to be a PE teacher. If you are coming into this profession and the strong why is not that, like, it's hard. It is hard work, man. But that why, that heart, that reason, those kids, that's what keeps you going. At least that's what kept me going a lot of times. So I think as an educator, like, your why gotta be super strong, because you had your days. I know I was talking to my brother last week, and it was like, man, you know, sometimes as a teacher, you just say, you know what, today I just lost. And to be able to pick yourself up every day and get back up and do it again, you have got to have a strong why, because it's challenging, but that why is what pushes you forward in those moments when you just like, yeah, I lost today. Number 3, know your obstacles and your triggers. Now, this point is really about self-awareness. To thine own self be true. Because you got to know the things that could potentially be roadblocks to your own success. So, for instance, here's one thing that I have been trying to work on is time management. Being more disciplined and consistent with my time. But what I've realized is that I'm not a night owl. Like, that's not me. I mean, I do it if I have to, if I feel like I haven't accomplished anything all day. I definitely do it, but I'm a morning person. Like, assignments that take me hours to do in the evening, it'll take me about 20 to 30 minutes in the morning, because I'm not on 10, I'm on 12. So I know that evening time doesn't work for me, so I have to adjust and know that evening I'm just gonna fall asleep. Like, I'm not gonna do what I need to do. So I have to make that adjustment and work in the morning, because I realize that works for me better. Number 4, what are you willing to give up? Because I know for me, sometimes I had the best intentions. I promise I do. I want it. In my head, I do want it. But I'm not really willing to give anything up, like sacrifice anything for it. Comment down below if you have the best intentions, but you say to yourself, do I really want to give something up for it? So here's my honesty. Right now, I have a pot belly. I talk to Christina about it all the time. I say, oh, I have a pot belly. And I do want to get rid of it. And literally, I could do 3 things to get rid of it. Stop drinking coffee with all the sugar and stuff in it. Stop eating bread and stop eating sweets. Like, literally, if I gave those things up, I'd probably be good. But, I love sweets. So I haven't been willing to give it up yet. It's coming. It's coming. But not yet. So we really have to be honest with ourselves. Again, self-awareness. What are you willing to give up? To know what those things are you need to give up, but what are you willing to give up? So, like, I'm thinking about Carlos outside in the heat. Man, it's hot. I could be doing other things. Andre, I could be playing video games. But if I want to get to this next level, this expert level, then I'm gonna have to put in some time. I'm gonna have to put in some work. I heard today I was in a training. Shout out to you, Silas. Shout out to you. 10,000 hours to become an expert. Like, it's time, energy, all those things that are contributing factors to being successful. Time and energy, man. 10,000 hours. That's a lot. Number 5, start small, my friends. Hey, Rome was not built in a day, and neither are we. It is a process. Again, biggest lesson of the weekend, we are complex individuals. And it takes time to grow and elevate yourself and become the next version of who you are. So here's my vulnerability. So I have dealt with high school math for 11 years. And I'm learning K5. And the struggle is real. It's not even that the struggle is real. It's just like, okay, it's all these many ways to count. Like, yo, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I had to start with just one grade level. So right now I'm studying kindergarten. Now, I am not a K5 expert yet. 2 things start to happen when we start small. We start to change the narrative of who we are. Because we start to believe that, no, Rome is not built in a day. But hey, I know this one thing. I started believing, I was like, oh, I am K5, I'm a kindergarten, not K5 yet, but I at least I'm starting to get the K down packed. So it's just starting small. But secondly, it starts to build momentum. Every time I watch these little videos, I start to, see connections and things like that. I'm like, oh, okay, it's not too bad. So let's wrap this thing up in a nice little bow. In summary, friends, whatever it is that you want to improve and become better at, better teacher, better leader, better husband, wife, it doesn't matter. It's a process that will continue on for the rest of our life. We'll always continue to be becoming another version of who we are. So these are the 5 tips that I use for myself, but please feel free to add, subtract, and take away what works for you. So just to recap, the Fab 5. Number 1, own and acknowledge the feelings and the discomfort that come with you changing behaviors and becoming another version of yourself. Secondly, set your intentions. What and why do you want it? Because the why will pull you forward in those moments when you're like, oh, I want to quit, I don't feel like it. Number 3, identify the obstacles or the triggers that could potentially get in your way. So I know for me, my trigger is the nighttime, not my jam. Morning person. So just knowing those things and adjusting accordingly. And then identify, what are you willing to give up? Truly, honestly. I love the sweet. Lastly, just start small. It's a process. Keep that in mind. Rome was not built in a day, and neither are we. So thank you again for checking out this video. If you feel like this was helpful and think it would be helpful to somebody else, please feel free to share with 3 educators. Be bold, be brave, be you, because you, my friends, are beautiful. And I'm out.